Hello and welcome to the Outdoor Cast. This is a quick product review of the Wowtou LED headlight that I did a unboxing of, kind of first look, a few months ago. I've been using this for a few months, and I kind of just wanted to share my thoughts with it. It's been beaten pretty hard. It's been tested and abused, so I wanted to share my thoughts with it and let you all know a little more about it. I also have some updates coming about the podcast and things we're going to be doing, so stay tuned. Alright, here it is. This is the Wowtou LED headlamp. I've used this since about May. Used it out on vacation, out hunting for crabs with the boys out on the beach. Used it for fishing. Haven't used it for hunting yet, just because there's been really nothing open that I've needed a headlight for as of yet. But I've used it just going outside, use it around the house all the time. So I've used this thing, and here are my thoughts on it. So when you get it in a box that looks like this. When you open it up, whenever you get it new, it'll be in all nice plastic wrapped and everything. But here is the headlight. This is a dual 18650 headlamp. The cool thing about it, though, is these batteries do run in parallel, and you only actually need one battery for it to run. So I've got one battery in it, and it turns on. Now, that will decrease your battery life in half from when you have two in there, just so you know that. These are the batteries that this one came with. These are these Ultra Fire 18650s 3600 milliamp hour batteries. These are not 3600 milliamp hour batteries. These batteries are junk. They're good enough for free. I would never buy these to put in this. Just they last a couple hours on a good day. You can get a lot better batteries for the same price, or not cheaper, that have a lot higher capacity. Your milliamp hours are the capacity of the battery, just if anybody didn't know that. These are 3.7 volt lithium ion batteries. So I'll go over in a little bit what are some better batteries to get for these, but right now we'll get back to the headlight. Alright, so here you have the headlight. These straps, they're actually pretty tough straps. For this being a $15 headlight, these are actually pretty tough. They are fully adjustable. You can adjust them down to fit on little kids. I mean, my 6-year-old was wearing this on vacation, having no problems. My 9-year-old was wearing it on vacation, no problems. And my 5-year-old was wearing it on vacation with no problems. The only problem they had was that it just felt weird because they're not used to wearing a headlight. So these straps are fully adjustable. They do adjust up and down to whatever you need. Here is your battery box where you keep the batteries, where the batteries go. I am not a fan of this. This is probably my biggest complaint about this. Really, my only real complaint about this headlight is this battery box. This is just a black piece of soft plastic, like rubber, right here. You can see I'm bending it all up. It just snaps around the battery case. So it might be water resistant. I don't think so. The listing on Amazon said it was. I haven't really gotten it too wet. I don't wear it in the rain too often. If I do, it's for a very short time. I will say I do sweat really, really bad. I mean, it can be 10 degrees outside and I'm sweating. And I never had sweat in this. I wore it when it was 90 degrees outside. I was sweating really bad. Never saw sweat inside the batteries. So I mean, I guess that's something. But on the back here, it used to say LED headlight when it was new. It's been worn off. This is actually a power light. It's kind of cool if you're out, like when I was out in the Sound, out in North Carolina, and I was out fishing or something, and it was just about dark. If I had my head away from the house where we were staying, this right here would light up and everybody could still see where I was at. Now if you're out biking or something, that's kind of cool because that way people can have a nice little visual references, a nice bright red light. You know, there's other reasons why you need this. It's just a good indicator for people who are behind you. Up here, this is the actual light itself. You have little notches there. I don't know how well that shows up. You have little notches that tell you your zoom of your lens here. So this tells you your zoom, how many times it is. This works really well, actually. I think in my first look, I did an outside view of how well this zooms. It kind of gives you a better idea of the zooms. It's not really a good. I don't really have a good way to do that right at the moment to show you that. But I will say, I can shine probably 150 yards. And you know, if it's max zoom, I can see the nice little light. So I could, if I needed to see what a sign says, I could probably read like a, I don't know, a street sign or something like that at 150 yards, or at least shine it, you know, light it up to where it's nice and visible. So it is good for that. One thing I've used it for is we have a raccoon problem around here, and I can use it to find raccoons. I can sit at my computer desk honestly and shine it out over the chickens and see raccoons in the trees because it lights their eyes up. Alright, if you're looking here, you can see that it zooms in and out. Fisheye lens there. If you look down there, you can see the LED, which is a little square LED. To get to it, you unscrew this, you unscrew your lens, which leads me to believe you might be able to get replacement lenses for these. I have not found them, but that would be neat if you could get a different kind of lens to project a different beam of light. You know, like just either a flat lens would kind of be cool, or you could, you know, get different color lenses for different scenarios and stuff, like a green lens or a red lens. A red lens would be, if I kind of look for a red lens for this, because that'd be really handy for when we're out hunting, you know, things like that. So you might be able to get these. I have not found any yet. But there's your LED. Oh, here, there's the LED right there. See, it's nice and square. This is a complaint that I have. It's not a serious complaint because I'm just kind of OCD about it. The LED's not square in there. It's kind of diamond shaped because the LED itself is square. So when you zoom all the way out, and it's a nice little dot at however far away, it actually is a square that projects out there. It's kind of annoying. Not really a big deal. It still is very, very usable out there at that distance whenever you've got it zoomed out all the way. There's your power button. It has nice responsive power button. You know, I've never had it not turn on. It works exactly like a power button should. The casing itself is mostly plastic. It's a nice tough plastic. I've dropped this thing. I've beat it up. I've abused it. And this thing, you know, other than it being the head strap being dirty, this thing still looks fairly new, to be honest with you. This housing here for the light itself, you can hear that, it actually is aluminum. It says it is aircraft grade aluminum. Yeah, aircraft grade aluminum with an alloy casing and waterproof design. There are 3 modes to this. I'll throw some batteries in here and I can show you the 3 modes of the light. See, this is another problem with this plastic thing, is it's sometimes can be a pain to get off. Alright, so you put your batteries in there. Like I said, these do run in parallel, so you only need 1 battery if you want. For this, I'm just going to put 1 battery in there. Close that shut. And alright, that is your standard brightness. You can see that it's kind of square. I've got this all the way zoomed out, so it is, you can see the square. That is that's the medium brightness, or the low brightness, I guess, in this case. And then you have a strobe. That strobes, I believe it strobes through the bright, then the less bright, and then off. I think it strobes through those 3 positions when it strobes. here is the red light that I said is on the back of your head with it. It's a nice bright red light. You can see it for quite a ways. It does change brightness, as you saw there, and it does strobe as well. It does whatever the actual headlight itself is doing. That's kind of handy for when people are looking for you and you're out in a big wide open space in the middle of the night. Onto the batteries. Like I said, these are not the battery. I would buy an extra set of batteries. 18650 batteries are cheap. Like, they're probably some of the cheapest batteries out there for what you get. That's the charging port it came with. It came with a charging cable. I don't know exactly where it's at. I think it's out in probably the shed where I store all my hunting and fishing stuff, normally where I shoot the podcast, the smokehouse. And I think it's out there. I don't use it. I've got a real 18650 charger. I think I took it out to my car. It looks something like this. Well, this is one. This is my good one. This is a 4-bay 18650 charger. This is eFest Luck. They make really good chargers. Got a nice big LED screen here, so you can see the charge of your batteries. It's got a USB port on the back, so I can plug in. I can actually plug this into my phone as long as I have a battery in here. Plug this into my phone and charge my phone off of these 18650 batteries. This is a great charger. You can get a 2-bay charger. It does the same thing, and they're like $20 for the 2-bay. So this is a great charger. If you're going to get into 18650 flashlights or anything with 18650s, I highly recommend these. These also work with 18390s and 18490s. 18350s and 18490s, sorry. So this does work with all of those. On to batteries. They have... this is one battery I'd recommend. This is the Samsung 25R. This has a decent milliamp hour ratings. I believe it's right around 2,000 milliamp hours. And this is a good battery. It lasts a long time in something like this, because this is a fairly low drain device. The other ones I would recommend are LG HG2s. They're brown. They look just like that except for brown, essentially. They're really good batteries. This one battery I'd recommend. They are 2,500 milliamp hours, I believe. I'm going off the memory right here. So I believe they're 2,500 milliamp hours. Well, what else did I miss? Oh, here's your cable that connects the batteries. This is your power cable here. It's nice, and it's got a nice spring to it. It stays nice and connected. I haven't had a problem with it, tearing, obviously. I mean, it still is in pretty good shape. Like I said, I beat this thing up. I've used it so much, and, it looks still fairly new. I used it in the rain a little bit. Like I said, I didn't want to get too wet because I don't know how much I trust this, but it did work very well. Every time I've used it, it turns on, works. The one little hiccup with it, and it has to do with this battery door, is what it is. If you have this thing on, I'll turn it on, and you bump it, it'll shut off because those batteries will come loose. So then you've got to go turn it back on. So, just one thing to remember. It's usually not a big deal unless if, I don't know, I was riding, I don't know, what was I doing? I may have just been walking around or something and tripped. But I've only had it actually shut off on me while I've even using it once when it's been on my head, and that was because I fell. I don't even remember what I was doing. But, yeah, so... this is $14.99 is what I got this for on Amazon. I got it from a seller called eZone. It came with the batteries, and it came with the wall plug-in charger that goes in this port. Yeah, I got it from them, and it's definitely worth $14.99. I guess I've talked about this enough up close. We can zoom back out, and we'll talk face-to-face. Alright, well that was the up-close and personal with the Wowtou headlight. Some final thoughts I have on it are, like I said, the bumping it and it turning off, that's kind of a pain, and that battery door. Both of those which are very much related. Currently on Amazon, where I got this one from, the seller is out of stock and doesn't know whether they'll be back in stock. They do have other models that are very similar. This one claims to have a T6, a Cree T6 LED. I don't know. I don't know enough about it to be able to verify for sure that's what it is. But there are other ones on there for very similar price. They're by different companies, but they look exactly the same. Way this is most likely this is a Chinese manufacturer. I can guess by the name that this is a Chinese manufacturer. They probably are all made in the same factory. Every brand of these that looks like this, they're probably all made in the same factory, came off the same run. They just get put in a bin, and Wowtou bought this many of them. Company A bought this many of them. Exactly the same, just they may change out the head straps. They may do something to put their name on it in some way. But they're most likely out of the same factory. So if you find one that you see that's similar on there, most likely it's going to be the same as this, and it's going to be just as durable and tough and reliable. The other thing is that for like $2 more, I'm finding that Wowtou has the 1600 lumens. This is 1100 lumens. I don't know if I mentioned that. This is 1100 lumens T6. They have the 1600 lumens Cree LED. They don't specify which bulb this is in these. So you might be able to find a little bit better of a deal. Like I said, they look exactly like this, just with a 1500, 1600 lumens bulb instead of a 1100 lumens bulb. So I would definitely recommend this to anybody who's either looking for just a good, inexpensive headlamp for hunting, fishing, biking, anything really, anything that you might need a headlamp for. So this is I do highly recommend this, because I've tested I've had a lot of headlights in my day, and this is by far the best. I have had those like $40 ones that run on AAA batteries. Those things are junk. They break. I've never had one last me even a complete deer season. This thing has lasted months. I have a bunch of those cheap little ones that the straps are broken on them, or the plastic where the straps broke, or the clasps that lock everything together is broke. So I keep them in case I need just a little handy light or whatever. So I've got tons of those around. They're all over my house. Like literally, you could pretty much open any drawer and find one. I don't use them anymore because I've got this. I'm actually thinking that for deer season coming up here in a month or so, I'm going to buy a bunch more. I'm going to buy some more of these. I'm just going to start saturating the deer cabin with them. I'm going to start saturating my house with them, because for $15, I mean, shoot, you can find some of them for, there's one for $12, $10.80, and it's pretty much the exact same thing as this. It's really hard to beat that. You can't even buy one of those cheap Rayovac ones from Walmart for that much. They're usually $10 for that. And these are going to blow it out of the water. That, and like I said, these batteries are cheap. They're rechargeable. Like, your average price on these batteries is $6, $7. They're rechargeable. You get way better battery life than you get off AAAs from them. And they're going to be able to you're going to be able to recharge them a lot more than even rechargeable AAAs. These things will last forever. I have some of them that are going on a year and a half old that they've probably been charged 100, 150 times, and they still work. You can obviously tell that they're losing capacity, they're losing power, but I mean they still work in here, and they work just fine. So definitely worth picking up. I highly recommend these headlamps to anybody. I will probably be getting a few more of these different similar headlamps that are 18650 and they have LED lights and all that. A few more headlamps in, or flashlights in, and start testing those out. I don't have the one I left up at the cabin last when we went out there a couple months ago. I've actually been testing out batteries for these little, you've seen them before. Bass Pro gives them out, Cabela's gives them out. This one's a Bass Pro one. They use these little sleds like this that run off of 3 AAA batteries. 3 AAA batteries. These little battery sleds are the same size as an 18500. Since they have 3 of them in there, these are 1.5 volts. They run at roughly the same power output as an 18500. So what I've got one of these that's from Mark Twain Cave or something we got one of the kids that they just forgot about, that I bought an 18500 for $4, and that was like a really top end 18500 was $4. That's cheaper than a pack of AAA batteries to run this, and it's rechargeable, and it has higher capacity. it screws right in there and fits perfectly. It fits perfectly, and it turns on, and it's just as bright as your AAA's, except for you get double, if not more, the runtime off of it. So I'm playing around with that. I will probably be reporting back after deer season, or maybe during deer season, since we're spending a week up at the cabin. I will have some time to record some videos with how that's going, and kind of some options, test out some. I might have some other flashlights that I think I can run these rechargeable lithium-ion cells in, things that use dual CR132s, things like that. I think I can probably get some batteries for. But yeah, I'll come back with you all on that, or whatever, when I do get that far, when I have a little more testing around, because this is really interesting stuff that you can mod your flashlights and make them more, work better for you, because flashlights are kind of one of those things that are kind of important when you're outside, because a lot of times when you're outside, you're out hunting, you're getting out there before sunlight comes up, so it's dark, you're walking through the woods, there's logs, there's stuff like that, you're tripping all over, so you're scaring off the animals that are far away, that are, you're scaring off from the sound. With a flashlight or anything like that, yeah, it might be bright, but if this deer, if your prey or what you're hunting for is outside of eye distance, they're still most likely inside of earshot. If they hear you trip over that log and start cursing up a storm in the middle of the woods, they're gonna know you're there, and they're gonna bolt, because they have better eyesight than you do in the dark. So, yeah. So we'll get back. So I'll get back to you on that. Well, I think that's it for this. Now I think I'm going to talk about a little bit what's going to go on with the podcast. Over the summer, me, Chris, and Drew, we've had some, between starting in June when Chris went on his family vacation, I went on family vacation early July, Drew went on his family vacation mid-July, and then by the time we all got back from our family vacations and were able to start recording together again, school's getting ready to start, so we had turnovers. They do stuff for the college students. They had to worry about all the turnovers and all the dorms and everything like that. So they had to deal with that. Well, about the time they started slowing down, K-12 schools got back in session, and my busy season started, and it's just, as of like last week, just now ending. So after this, I think we're going to try to get back into a fairly weekly schedule. It's going to be kind of hit or miss, because this is in the we're getting into the heart of deer season. We are already almost a month into bow season here in Missouri, and I haven't been yet. So I'm probably going to be spending as much time as I can out in the woods or trout fishing, because trout fishing is heating up right now as well. So we're still going to try to get this on a weekly basis. I'm still going to try to get at least one quick video up. If we don't get a podcast up, I'll try to get a quick video up of something to review. I've got quite a bit of stuff that I can review that I've gotten over the summer and finally able to start using. So that's kind of where I'm going to go forward with that. We're going to try for weekly, but where it may be hit or miss. One thing I'm going to also start doing is I'm going to try to get more into the video side of things, and not necessarily the still going to keep the audio podcast as long as we can, but video is kind of the way things are going. Things are going to YouTube, so we're going to try to go to YouTube a little more. I think that's about it. If you all have any questions or comments, just comment below, question below. We'll try to get back to you on that. If you have any suggestions for things we want us to review, you want us to talk about, anything, just leave comments. Follow us on SoundCloud, follow us on YouTube. We're on iTunes, we're on Pocket Casts. Just follow us, let us know. We have some back episodes that have some really interesting information, I guess. We do have interesting information, and it's just, it may not be what fits you. We're still in the process of trying to figure out where we're going with this podcast over just a general outdoors cast. We kind of want to find a little niche that we don't see very often, because there are a lot of product review channels that go out there and they review all the greatest products and stuff like that. So we want to find our niche in the internet community and bring what we have to say to the table. So, like I said, just leave us comments. Alright, well, this has been another episode of the Outdoor Cast. Have a good week, and remember, enjoy the outdoors.